everybody. I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, afternoon, pre-noon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hasan Piker, and this is Awesome broadcast coming to you live from not New York City, New York, but not sunny, but still stolen land, just all the same. California, Los Angeles, folks, we're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one because today's a beautiful day. Today's a wonderful day. Today is the first day of 2026. That's right. It's going to be a real tongue twister for a little bit. You know, I think this is going to be modest, incremental expansions of already existing social safety nets, things like that. Hopefully, it'll be successful, and there will be a lot of pushback, no matter how modest or how incremental. And there will also be a lot of criticism that comes from the left flank too, as is always the case, right? There will be a lot of people on the left flank that are going to say he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, all this stuff, or he promised so much more, he's not doing it. And it's always going to look like, unmute, man, shut the fuck up, dude. God damn, let me do some goddamn commentary. Suck my dick. Oh my God, we're 36 minutes in. New year, new me. Haven't even put my prediction or goals out there about how I'm not going to be fucking malding as much anymore. I haven't even had the moment to lie to you about not you know, yelling at you guys, and you're already being freaking annoying. Calm down. There you go. First mauled out of the gates. First malding out of the gates. Swinging. It's been 37 minutes since I started the broadcast. You know, new year, same you reacting to one guy. It's not even one guy. There's hella guys. It's never one guy. When I'm getting one guide, I'm not actually getting one guide. I'm getting 10 guide. I'm getting 100 guide. I'm getting 1,000 guide. Look, ultimately, he has, he has a solid team around him. There's some people, obviously, that I'm not too fond of, and not like from his team, but I mean from his, new mayoral team. But outside of that, I think hopefully he'll be able to change certain things to improve people's lives a little bit to the best of his ability from the position that he has, in spite of all of the pushback that will inevitably come. And not only that, but also he'll be an inspirational figure in the same way that Bernie was an inspirational figure for him. And I know that a lot of people on the left flank get mad about him constantly praising Bernie Sanders and propping up Bernie Sanders and assume that he's going to betray a lot of the other things that he said he was going to do, or betraying like his anti-Zionist activism and things of that nature. But I think you have to understand, if someone who is a lifelong anti-Zionist activist has also been inspired by Bernie Sanders and has positions that I would say are far more to the left and far more radical than Bernie Sanders on a lot of issues, then what makes you think that there won't be others that are equally inspired by ZOHRAN MAMDANI and will then run for office and win on positions that are far more radical than ZOHRAN MAMDANI's in terms of being on the left? This is how things work. This is why I always say change takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. And in many instances, you have to work within the confines of what is possible, right? That's just the reality. And a lot of people don't see that. A lot of people want instant gratification. Or let me say it a different way. It's not necessarily even instant gratification, because a lot of people, I think, understand the severity of the violence and the severity of structural violence of poverty, the severity of the structural violence of genocide, or not structural violence, but the direct violence of genocide. And because of that, because time is running out when it comes to the imminent ecological collapse due to climate change, people want change immediately. People demand change immediately, and it's understandable. But no matter what our needs are, no matter what the situation demands, the reality of the matter is things are going to always move, especially in a country like the United States of America that is so unimaginably right-wing, so unimaginably reactionary. Things are going to move very slow. The very fact that we have people like ZOHRAN MAMDANI who are seen as positive figures in American politics, I mean, this is unheard of. This is unheard of and unimaginable even in like 2016. 34-year-old Muslim socialist guy who's brown, who's anti-Israel. You have to understand, given the timeline here, things are in many instances moving at a rapid pace. Dog, you elevated a fucking mayor, literally never let anyone take the shit away from me. I know you're humble, but this was a dub you genuinely helped achieve, not just with the platform, but with all the people you're motivated enough to help this campaign. No, I mean, it's nothing I do is as consequential as what the people will end up doing. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm just lucky enough that I was able to play some kind of a role in this. Ultimately, this is a great moment. And hopefully it will be a really good moment for the future of the left in this country, no matter what people say, no matter how skeptical people are. The reason why I say that is because we don't get a lot of W's, man. You just got to take them. You got to take them where you can. Okay. You got to take it where you can. You got to take it in stride. But it is yet another testament that you have to just like keep pushing, no matter what people say. Ultimately though, like I said, you never know where American society will inevitably lead towards. You don't know where we'll be at 5 years down the line. So you have to keep organizing nonstop because, you know, when the opportunity comes, it's good to have a solid movement. It's good to have at least less ideological antagonism towards socialism. And I think it's little by little that we are all able to put a dent in this concept. But you have to remember, these things take time. I don't want people to assume that he's going to like do broad sweeping changes day one, or even by the end of his mayoral tenure, whenever that may be. But I will say this much. I think he also, regardless of some of the criticisms that I've had with what he's done in internal New York City DSA politics, I think the reason why he's moving in the way that he's moving is because he understands the responsibility that he has as far as being like a movement builder, as far as being like a figure that people will point to. Like he recognizes that it's not just like any other mayor. You know what I mean? Like when Eric Adams was elected, he didn't have an entire future of a movement that people would point to. Nobody was looking to Eric Adams to be like, well, this is what it's going to look like for the future of like the Democratic Party politics. Well, I guess Nate Silver was, but he was stupid, right? Nate Silver was saying that, and a lot of people in mainstream media were saying that, but very quickly they just kind of dropped it because liberalism is hegemonic, and there are a million other people that you can point to. The well is deep. The bench is deep for liberals that you can point to. Whereas for socialists, democratic socialists in general, or socialists of any variety, there aren't that many people in positions of power. So there's a lot of scrutiny on what they do, and basically what they end up accomplishing will be proof for many other people. Even his electoral victory, in my opinion, dramatically changed the trajectory of American politics, and you will see this in the upcoming year. I'll talk about my predictions in a little bit, but you will see a lot more Zohran-style campaigning. It's already started. Some will be indecent, and some will be legit. They found their new Hassan Abi Piker. Oh, who is it? Socialist Zohran Mamdani's wife, Rama Dawaji, appears to wear luxury $630 boots to swearing in ceremony. I love when people do this stuff, especially when they talk about like luxury boots and then they point to boots that are $630, which is, once again, expensive, certainly very expensive, but it's also boots. Like, they're boots. It's like when they did this with Bernie's jacket. They were like, Bernard Sanders is wearing like a $400 jacket or something. And it's like, yeah, he's wearing a winter coat because it's cold outside. Those things are expensive. What is he supposed to do? Knit it himself? Like, what do you mean? Not luxury. It's not even couture. These motherfuckers don't know clothing. Yeah, I don't know what these shoes are, but I also don't care. But also, you kind of out yourself for chirping about stuff like this because, like, high-end boots, or not even high-end boots, but just like boots in general nowadays in this economy are starting at like $200. So even on the higher end, you're going to see like $630, but it's not the highest end. And not only that, but it doesn't even matter. If she was wearing $6,000 boots, I still wouldn't give a shit. I don't care. Paying over $150 for any article of clothing is bourgeois decadence. Yeah, exactly. Whereas hyper-focusing on the clothing that people are wearing without even figuring out how they accrued it, without even figuring out how they acquired it, and like having a back and forth over like how expensive certain pieces of clothing are, that's how we achieve true communism, true socialism. Is dumb as fuck. Who gives a shit? Also, she's a totally separate person, and I don't even know if she's a socialist or not. And even if she is, I still don't care. For the record, I don't think a lot of people actually care about it either. I guess they whip themselves into a frenzy to care about it, where they just like, where they'll talk about this stuff endlessly, where they'll be like, this is discourse, but it's never actual like socialists. More often than not, this kind of conversation is always coming from people who are not socialists at all, who just like despise socialism, who will be like, socialism means you have to be broke, you fucking stupid ass. Why aren't you wearing the appropriate price boots? But then what's even more annoying about it is there are actual self-described socialists that will engage in this kind of reactionary nonsense. They do. There are people who unironically do this. There are people who unironically also, on the left, people who are self-described leftists, whether they're anarchists, Marxist, Leninists, or the like, who also lean into the socialism is a poverty cult narrative. And they'll leftistly make this argument where they'll be like, no, you actually don't understand. You're making a statement with all of your purchases about, you know, luxury goods that you're purchasing. Luxury goods mean that you are totally succumbing to the overproduction that exists under, you know, a capitalist organization of the economy, blah, blah, blah. All of these words to say you're a boring ass bitch with no swag, okay? You are, dude. Are you tone deaf? Hypocrite, you wear thousands of dollars of clothing every day. Yes, my $1,000 UAW t-shirt that I'm wearing currently. It doesn't matter. My point is, it doesn't matter. It literally does not matter. And I think more leftists should focus on their image as well. They should. Marketing is important. Branding is important. Marketing is important. Conduct yourselves a little bit better. And don't engage in purity testing over dumb shit like this. This is the one argument that actually really frustrates a lot of people, even in this community, because it's the thing that most people don't care about. And if it's something that you don't care about, it's so easy to just disparage. Think about how much easier it is to boycott SodaStream for BDS than it might be to boycott like Diet Coke. For me, boycotting Diet Coke for BDS was difficult, right? It's obviously, you know, it's nothing in comparison to like maybe the marginal aid that you are contributing to the cause, right? But what's hilarious about it is like, it's much easier to boycott SodaStream. And for a lot of people, it's much easier to say like bourgeois consumption is taking place here because this is an environment that I don't care about. So I'm going to consistently try to have an academic back and forth, a debate over commodity consumption in you know, an industry that I don't personally have any care or consideration for, so I don't really give a shit about it. Whereas if I were to have a similar conversation about like, I don't know, the ethics of any number of different things that are also created under similar unethical grounds, because there's no ethical consumption under global capitalism, and then told you like you have to forego meat consumption or you have to forego playing video games. I don't play video games. You shouldn't be playing video games either. They're ruining the environment. It's a waste of time. It's actually a bourgeois good. No more video games for you. You'd be like, okay, well, I care about video games. Fuck you. And you would try to intellectualize why it's totally appropriate. It doesn't matter. As Yanis Varoufakis once said to me, our issue is not with the products of capitalism, but with capitalists that own the means of production. But I do think, and I do mean this sincerely, you don't have to like buy fucking, you know, luxury, hyper expensive fashion fits or whatever. But I do think that people should conduct themselves if they are out and about, being, you know, openly leftist, openly socialist, whatever. They should conduct themselves a little bit differently because people will reflect on your worldview positively. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. And not only should you think about like, you know, what you're putting out there, but beyond that, you should also think about it when, you know, the vibes you're putting out. The vibes you're putting out should also be good, especially because, and this is the one thing that I think a lot of people understand better, a lot of leftists understand better. Fascists know that. They understand that, you know, aesthetics do matter. And they use that as a marketing opportunity. Being frugal doesn't mean being cheap. It means thinking about the long-term use of a product and sometimes choosing a more expensive, better quality product. Yes. My point is you don't actually have to justify it. I genuinely don't think so. And I never thought you had to justify things like that.